Hello everybody, I'm going to take down this auger, and what I'm going to do is film it. So that one, when it comes to putting it back together, I will know, or if we sell it, I can give the video to the new owner, or I might put it on YouTube, and we'll see. So firstly, you've got these little caps that go in these holes. These are the caps. I've already started, and they go and screw into those caps there. There's 6 of them on this one, and they go in each of the sides there. I've got one left to bring out. They're a bit tricky. Somebody decided to glue one of these caps into this one, and I imagine that when this is actually going to be switched on, that would melt, would it not? Anyway, so I am going to carry on trying to take these out, and they're just sort of, I've had to get a bit of string to try and loosen it, and then what the aim is to take this piece off here firstly, and then take these off and the top off, but we'll see. I'll come back to you in a bit. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That just comes off. Okay, so that means now I can get my chisel. You need a wide flathead. I didn't have one, or I have, but I can't find it. They just come out. There's a rod in there that's keeping this top bit onto the main body of the auger. So they actually come out 1, 2, 3 on this side. So there we have all 6. One of them did take a bit of effort to get out, but it's out now. So the next thing is we're going to take the hobs, I suppose, the hobs off. The reason we're taking this down is because they are, one, quite expensive to run these days. It's obviously the idea of an auger is to keep it on all the time, and I mean they are great, but to keep it all the time just isn't cost effective, especially most of the time you're out at work all day. But this one has never actually been used. It's been fired up, but it hasn't been used. The person that owns it had a leak, so it never got round to doing it, and then the house came to a standstill on the renovation, and it's just never really been picked back up again. So the problem is that this a few years ago would have been a couple of £1,000s worth of auger, and now if you look online, they have dropped significantly. Just astronomically more like. They are going for peanuts. You can pick these up for 100 quid. So if you've got the money to run it, it was a nice little addition to the kitchen, I suppose. It just doesn't go with our kitchen. What we're actually doing is we're going to put an oven on the island over there, and when you're cooking, you can see out down there towards Malvern Hills, but it just doesn't go. So we are going to continue. Next job, hobs off. It looks like these have got 2 Allen key bolts just into the sort of the bar that keeps it on. So I need to go find an auger, go find the Allen key. Right then, why is it you can never find an Allen key when you want one? No, when you do find one, they're all the wrong size. Anyway, so this basically is just gonna come off, it says. Probably not been off for a very long time. And then, now I don't need 2 hands for this, so this bar then, you see, does just come out. Now that it's front rail, point it out there. It comes out like that, and this thing just comes off, and that's your hob, and that's where it comes out of. What I'll do is I'm actually going to put those back in there so that we don't lose them, and then obviously it's the same on the other side. So see you in a minute. So there we go, I've just 1, 2, I'm going to put some masking tape over it, and then next thing is to get these out. Well actually, watch, that's easy, that's one. That'll be harder than it look. One of these over here. What I'm going to do is wrap all this up after as well in some cardboard, and I feel it's going to go into storage for quite a long time, so that one, look. Okay, that's that. And then these plates come out, which get quite heavy, so let me do the masking tape first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So before I start taking these plates out, do remember you need to do this bit. And these just come off, and they're in what looks to be in 3. So I'm going to just put them somewhere where it's not going to scratch the auger. Yeah, 2, 3, and these are the rods here that your little pieces, I'll show you, put them all in a nice little bag. So these pieces, they just go onto there, and that keeps these plates on to the top of the auger. So there we go, that's a few bits that I've boxed up. If I do this as a go, then I shouldn't get myself into a mess. So the next plan then, yeah, is to, well, you need to have a look at the electrics behind there, hoping that will easily come out. I will obviously show you guys. I might come back to that in a minute. I'm just going to pull these out, I think, and just see, 1, how heavy they are, and 2, I think I know what's underneath, but we'll pull them out here and have a look. These rods will come off, and that's one there that's attached to the main body. That one, I think it's attached. Yeah, well, there's a plate there with the earth, and plate there, and then doesn't look like it's going to cause, oh yeah, so all that's got to come out actually. So this piece has got to come out so that you can take this off, annoyingly, but I suppose it's not going to be. So we can take these plates out. There's a bit of weight to them, so be careful of your fingers. And then inside we can start to see what actually makes the internals of an auger. Grab the camera up, and these I've got some vermiculite, which help to retain the heat within the auger, and some foam there, maybe a bit of draft proofing. What we do need to do is work out how to get this bit off of the auger, which I think is a couple of rods, a couple of screws, in order to get the top off, and then when that comes off we are away. So that's the first rod out. It was a bit fiddly. They are, looks like, directly screwed into that hole. So we're going to do this one, which it's a bit of a combination of spanner. I couldn't tell you what size nut it is, 10mm maybe. I've just got an adjustable spanner, and to sort of get it to a point where it will start and screw out of the hole at the bottom as well. So we managed to get this one loose in the end using some pliers. I don't think I've damaged any of the thread. I've just put a bit of material around it, but hey ho, it's off. So that's 2 rods, one of which, no, there it is here. So I'm going to put those, I've got a little bag going on, so put them in the bag. And that leaves that one. There's a couple of screws, so I'm just going to unscrew those. One is got an earth connected to it. This isn't plumbed in to the gas and it's not wired into the main, so it should be fine to obviously be playing around with. And if it's not, then give us a thumbs up. Okay, that is mostly out. Something must be still attached because it's not fully coming out. So I'm going to take this box off here. I think I might have to unconnect it somewhere else. And hang on a second. Hang on. Yeah, they come through. They must come through there. So they have basically just come through the holes. So they're out. There's 1, 2 that were connected to it. And then there's another earth connected, got this, another earth connected there, which I'm going to get my adjustable and try and free it. It might just take 15 times longer to do it. But that's why we watch YouTube videos, isn't it? To find out how to do things ourselves. Tell you what, I'll come back to you in a little bit. What I will say is, this whole inner workings does look a bit old and rusty, but I mean, I think what I need to take is the 3 bolts that are holding that part to this base here, and I think once that's out, there's actually a wire here which is attached to there. There's this black one here. The white one is the mains, which is coming off. The black one's actually going inside, which I presume is possibly going all the way down to the bottom bit and is connected to in there somewhere, probably that one, honestly. So I don't know which probably best. I'm probably best disconnecting it from up there, and then it's kind of still in there. I suppose when we take the inside bits out, we'll see, won't we? So I'm going to do that now. So I've disconnected the electrics from the connector block. What I'm going to do now is take these few bolts out that I said I was going to do and hope that it comes off. And that's it. There we go. Hopefully then, fingers crossed, we will be able to take this off and take this bit off, which has got some kind of something else stuck underneath that's broken. There we go. That possibly goes out towards the flue, maybe. So we're now starting to see a bit of progress. So yeah, the top part now should, that lifts it, and then get your fingers underneath it. That lifts up, so I'm going to go for it, I think. It's supposed to be a 2-man job, so good luck. So just taken the plate out, which is that one, and then I took the other one out, and that was attached to it, which made it very heavy, so be careful. I'm going to go get the rest, I think. So to get this top bit off, you have got to get back to this tricky little bolt, otherwise you can't get the actual top casing over it, so you can't get it off. So without bending it or breaking it off, I'm just going to spend a bit of time doing that, and then we should we're there, look. You can see we're nearly there. Basically been silly. I haven't got a WD-40 at hand, so I've bent the rods, not the rods, bent this little plate back. It's only thin, and it'll go back into place once this actually comes off. So this is what we've been waiting for the last, well, I've been going for about an hour and a bit, maybe a bit longer, and that just comes off. And it's not actually as heavy as what I was expecting. Now it's off, you can actually see the top of the auger. You can see where the rods are that are held on, or holding the top bit on. That's there. There's obviously there's 4 of those. This comes out, then you see, and then we've got to get all this vermiculite out, which is not a job for me, that's a job for Henry Hoover. So I'm going to get all this out, make a mess obviously, and then we'll get Henry out and we'll plug him in and he can do his bit, I think. So I've started with Henry. I'm just going to show you how well it picks this up. So, just a little update. This is taking ages to get it out. It's filled up the Hoover so quick. I didn't realise there was so much. The YouTube video I watched, either I wasn't listening or he just didn't say how much vermiculite is actually in this thing. And this is so far 3 bags of vermiculite. There's probably another bag in there, if not more, because it just keeps coming out. But it needs to be done. It's very dusty. It's a dirty job. So if you are doing it, I mean, I'm lucky this house we're not living in. If you are living in a house, you're taking one of these apart, be prepared for some dust and dirt and spillages, because that's what happens when you do stuff like this. Yeah, we'll carry on. So most of the vermiculite is out. I think once I get the rest of these bigger pieces out, I will be able to hoover out the rest. You can see the flue there. This white pipe goes along the bottom and out of the wall. It's separated at the bottom because I pulled it to try and dismantle it. Anyway, so what we need to do now is, I think it's probably, or looks to be, 3 sections, big sections, which is this one, and the one below it, which is for your bottom oven. You've obviously got the bottom oven there. So I'm going to crack on. So I'm going to do this bit first, which is the left hand side, and this has only got a hob, it doesn't have an oven, because underneath here is the like gas and electric housing bit. There's probably an actual term for it. That came out quite easy, just as I was talking, which is worrying. Anyway, so from what I can see is it needs a spanner and easy. So I'm going to take this side bit off, I should say side panel, and there's actually 2 bolts, well there was 2 bolts holding it on, and they were finger tight, and that's just comes off, and that actually reveals a bit more of the inside, so I can now try and work out how to get this big pot off. So that plate there goes in there and actually uncovered the reason why this thing won't lift up. So there we go. And if we look down there, that looks to me to be the heat source of this old Argo. The gas pipe goes in down there, obviously goes through whatever it goes through, and then goes into there. And this is effectively the boiler, I suppose, behind it all. So I'm going to undo that bolt, and hopefully that should just lift off. And it's wiggling about, it doesn't look too heavy to be fair, so we'll give it a go. Well, of course it's finger tight, like everything else on this Argo, apart from 1 bolt so far. So it's just a bracket, gloves on, and then he says it should come out. There we go. So that has revealed a bit more. So you've got the heat rope or fire rope, whatever it is, and then a bit more mess, obviously. That'll come out a little bit. So we're starting to now see the sections. So you see there's the two sections, which I don't know if they'll be too tricky. There seems to be a bolt there, so I imagine there's another one on the other side. That one, which is another rod. We'll keep the momentum going. So what I'm doing here is just undoing bolts really to see if I can get this thing loose. In here, that was in there. That was a bolt that came off. That's a rod. It's connected to the bottom. Just loosen these. I'm hoping that I can't get these loose, so I'm going to try a bit harder with that. And hopefully that actually was some kind of giant Allen thing. Anyway, it's through the flue and into there. I might be able to find where that bolt went. I don't move too much. Got that one. So same on the other side, I imagine. But how do you get your fingers? No, not. So yeah, I need to get that bolt off somehow, so that flue section comes out. Right, that should now give us a bit more of an idea of what's going on. So we've got some bolts there for some rods. We'll undo those. Yeah, it says we can do them. We'll try and undo those. how you get them out after. Well, that's your guess is as good as mine. I presume that will come out when the front comes off. Those rods will come off, so they need to be all taken off. And I'm going to put them back on so that I don't lose them. So that's one side of the rods out, and they actually keep the back plate of both ovens on. So there's the other side to do, and they should come off. Whether I actually needed to do that, I don't know. I'm sure somebody will know more than me. Anyway, when you're doing things yourself, you learn as you go, don't you? So now I want to get the other side off, I think, so they're not flapping about, and then work out how to separate the top from the bottom, hoping that underneath some of this foam and vermiculite there'll be some bolts or something. I can't imagine it's going to be too difficult because the heat source is there. There we go, that way. Heat source is there, so it's literally, you know, the whole thing gets hot. So yeah, I don't know really. We'll see. So all I'm doing here, that was on there, so that rod went through that hole, and there was 2 bolts. They weren't that tight to come off. This is part of the temperature. So I don't know if this works, obviously it's never been on. So it's mercury as well, so it's very fragile. So it's 2 bolts down in there. The old trusty adjustable. Take them off and take that out. This thing is getting looser, but we'll see in a minute how loose. I need 2 hands. Okay, so they haven't done, so then that it does just slide out. And then that is your temperature out. Now, like I said, I don't know if this actually works, but we will put it to one side so that it doesn't get broken. And then we'll actually give this top part a little wobble, see if we can find out where it's still connected. What I am doing is trying to put as many of the bits back where I got them from, just so that they don't get lost. Again, I don't actually know what's going to happen with this. Probably just sit in storage for the rest of my lifetime anyway. So, it's wobbling. But where is it connected? 2 plates actually. I will show you. Down there, 1, 2 with bolts. So I'm gonna undo those. So it is moving. I did notice that it was getting stuck here, which this has been the culprit. Still a bit stuck in there, but that's an Allen key. And I'm going to have a little nose up there to see what that is actually being held on to. But it's moving about, and I think once that's off, that will lift out, and then we should be able to start and work our way down towards the bottom. But we're getting there. Let's say it's three sections, and then just the front and back and side panel to come off, and hopefully that'll be pretty much it. So we've got that out. It was just this. And it was actually in there, screwed in. Take a little bit of wiggling, take that plate off and put that back in, so again that stays there and not get lost. It must be something to do with the heat. So this thing now should, I'm not going to do one-handed, but it should lift up nicely, go put it with the rest of the bits and then go from there. So now we can actually see inside the top oven, which is there. Again, that's why these plates that come off the back, I don't know whether I actually needed to do that, but that possibly, yeah, so that one comes off, and the next one will probably come off, and I'll come back to you in a minute. So we're down to the bottom plate, which it wiggles. You can see what I mean, because this plate, I've got the 2 rods there to take off. That one has been a bit annoying, so now I can get to it a bit better. This is starting to come loose. There's one more bolt which is there, I haven't done that yet. And that will come off. That will come off. Doors, I believe they just lift up. I'm not going to do it one-handed in case I drop it on the toe. And we'll just break that one down again. That's fine, so that's just a bit more insulation. Yeah, same again really, there's the seal that'll come up. I don't think they're anything to worry about, they're just bolts. So yeah, that top bit actually will come off. And yeah, that's the bottom of it. Let me show you. That's the bottom of the Arga. So there's all this will come out, and then there's a metal base. This will come off in a minute when I wiggle it off. Or there's 2 bolts actually, 1, 2. So there's 2 bolts there. That will then allow this to be removed, and then there's a bolt there and a bolt there. Imagine there'll be a couple more, yeah, so then that will allow the internals, well, the gas and the electric, to come away from the front of the Arga. Got the doors to come off, and then some hoovering to do to get the rest of it up, and that should be job done. Obviously the purpose of this video was in case anybody, one, was taking their Arga down, wanted to see how difficult it was, or easy depending on your skill level, and then 2, if it was to get put back together, then 1, I could refer back to it, or someone else could. So these rods that are holding the 2 ovens in place, they actually screw out so that you can store the front of it a bit better. So I've got a bag with all these bits in. It just saves it. You know, you can flatten it down properly, or however it's going to get stored. So that's that. So that is really, that's the 2 ovens done. They're the rods. I don't know if they come out. Oh, they do. So they come out as well. So that's probably better for storing as well, isn't it? So take them out as well after. And then there's some legs here. They come out as well. So we'll take that out. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if you saw that actually. Do it again. Pretty self-explanatory because they're actually bigger than the other ones, and I presume there's one more. So they can all go in the bag. That is literally now just vermiculite. That's the old where it came out of. That's another bag's worth of vermiculite to get hoovered up. Those rods to come out, these ones, and then yeah, I'm gonna undo all the bolts there and hope that it just pops out, you know. Everything else has just popped out. I can't see why that's going to be any more difficult. So I'll I will loosen the nuts and come back to you. Okay, so undone the bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then this actually came forward. So be careful because it could fall over. I'm going to take the doors off to make it a bit lighter, and then going to lift it out and see if it just comes out. And then that bit is actually still solidly in. So hopefully when I get this front panel off, I might need to hoover the rest out, and that will reveal how that's connected to the bottom. I can't imagine it'd be too many bolts. And then it's, well, it's the 2 back panels and the bottom panel. So the last part of the video will probably just be me showing you what's left. The doors just lift out, but you don't want to damage those because really they're in such good condition if anything happens to this with this Arga, potentially it could be used for parts, because these sides say it's never been on, it's never actually been used. It's been on, but it's not been used, so they are brand new, and to somebody they're worth a bit of money. So I'm just going to try and get that off. Well, yeah, there's another 2 bolts underneath actually, so I will get to those, and then there is this gas pipe which is going to come out with it, but once those 2 bolts are off, hopefully they're not too tight. Okay, everyone. So now this should lift out. I'm just thinking where I'm going to put it. So lift out, and that is the front of the Arga. Now, like I say, there's the only bit now is this. I'm hoping maybe it was because it was still connected to the front. That's why it felt like it wasn't going to move out. So that's it. That's all that's basically left is vermiculite, more rods. Show you what it sits on. There's actually a concrete base under here. That is staying in. I'm not taking out the concrete base. It's going to be a big fridge on here anyway, but I don't fancy that. I don't know how heavy this base is going to be. That might be a 2-man job. So everything's out, and these plates are in the bottom, I presume, just to protect the. This bit is separate to. There's a base plate under here, which I'll show you in a minute. But there's 1 bolt up there to come out. Again, finger tight. Side piece should just lift out easily. This is the last rod. It's actually it's a little bit bent, so waiting here. Look, do this, and then this is the base plate, which isn't too heavy. Yeah, would I take an Arga down again? Yes, it wasn't that difficult. It took about 4 hours. A lot of that was tidying up. Yeah, about an hour of that was hoovering with Henry Hoover, to be honest, a bit dusty. The rest of it is working out, really, what to do. I've never done it before. I don't claim to be any kind of mechanic, engineer, builder. I just give it a go. So I did look online, and to be honest, somebody would come out and dismantle that and take it away for, which is about £600 with VAT, and then if you wanted it put on a pallet so that it could be transferred somewhere else, that's an extra 240 quid. So you're talking nearly £1,000 to take out that through some companies. That's a lot of money when they're not worth anything. You know, have a look online, they are worth pennies. So you're losing money to take it out. If you've got an alright sort of aged one, do it yourself, take it to the recycling yard or stick it on eBay, and you save yourself £1,000. So I hope it's been informative. I'm not going to do another one unless somebody pays me, so don't look out for any more. Bye.